Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Snooker Table. This is a channel that I launched, 8-9 months ago, something like that. I think I launched it just after the Worlds in 2023 that Luca Bassell won. And my plan was to be consistent with this channel, have content weekly, maybe 2 times a week. But I have a different channel which does interviews and documentaries and stuff like that. And I kind of got sucked into a particular widely publicised news case last year, and a lot of work went into that, and I did some exclusive interviews regards to that, and I neglected the channel that I launched, which was the Snooker Table. Snooker is my biggest passion. I'm starting to like snooker more than football. Because football is just, football is just a bit of a joke these days. Money and politics and stuff like that. But anyway, we're not talking about football. I am here today to tell you that the Snooker Table, I am going to, for now, upload weekly. 1 video a week. I am going to talk about some current news. Let's commentate and analyse an event. Let's talk about some snooker characters. Let's talk about some players. We'll do episodes where we'll study a player. We will do episodes where we will look into a tournament. We'll do some reactions to some classic matches. And we'll analyse some different techniques from different players, different styles over the years. 1 or 2 videos on this channel which were from many months ago, but I am now going to put some commitment into this channel. There's no fan forum really for snooker, and I know there is a lot of us out there. It is quite niche, but there is enough of us out there to have this kind of fan forum. So I will do live videos where we can talk about an event. I think that'll be a good way of doing it. Live videos talking about the day's snooker, the day at the German Masters, today at the UK Championship, talk about a particular match or talk about a particular player or whatever it may be. So I am going to put some commitment back into this now. So today I want to talk about, can Ronnie make it a career Triple Crown? Obviously, he's won the UK. He won the Masters. Can he now go on and win the World Championships? I believe now he's on 8-8-7, so 8 UK, 8 Masters, and then he's going for his 8th World Championship. I truly believe if he hadn't have won the Masters, I wouldn't have had him. Obviously, you can never count out Ronnie, ever, of course. You'd be foolish to. I don't think he would have necessarily gone for it as much if he'd not just won that Masters. Because let's face it, the way that he approached the Masters, he was just all-out attack. It was just going for everything. No real safety involved. Audacious shots. But that's the way Ronnie says he's going to play these days, and that's what he's adhering to. Some of the shots against Ali Carter were just absolutely ludicrous. But, Ali couldn't cross the line, and I think towards the end of that match, Ronnie did hone it in a little bit. He stopped playing with fire, and Ali couldn't. He didn't have the bottle, basically. To be fair, he didn't have the bottle, and Ronnie did what Ronnie does best. Now to the original question: can Ronnie make it a season Triple Crown? I think if Ronnie's obviously going into this as the favourite, of course. Why wouldn't he? He's entered 7 events this year and he's won 4. I think going into this year's World Championships, Ronnie is definitely going to be the favourite. And can he... But he always is, really. He's always there, first or second. It's normally, over the past kind of 5 to 10 years, it's kind of jumps between Ronnie or Judd or Neil Robertson. We kind of have a little jumps around like that, doesn't it? Now, maybe Selby up there as well. I think Ronnie will win his 8th World Championship. But I think there's a way that he needs to approach this. I'm not going to tell the GOAT how to play snooker. But if he plays the game of that he did at the Masters, going for everything, he will not win. He will get caught out. There is players there that won't bottle it. If he comes up against let's say one of the upcoming Chinese players, for example, there's not many of them now, is there? A lot of them have actually been banned. And he plays that kind of loose, going for everything, he will get found out. If he play, Mark Allen, players like that, players that are up there in that top 16, Mark Allen up there in that top 10, probably in the top 5, 6. If he plays that kind of snooker against Mark Allen, he will get found out. You can get away with it, lesser players. You can get away with it with players that don't have that bottle to come through towards the end. If Ronnie can play his game with his safety as good as it can be, Ronnie will win that 8th world title. I don't see how he can be stopped, but it's all about reining in that kind of going for everything style of play. Who are the other contenders for the World Championships, in my opinion? So I think going off the season so far, there is a few names that are clear favourites, clear contenders for Ronnie. Ronnie's the number one. Now, there's a few players that are going to be obstacles, and there's a few players that you would normally put as obstacles that I don't think are going to do that well, or they're not going to get in his way this year. So the players that you might normally think about that I don't think are going to be a threat are your Neil Robertson's. Very, very shaky season. I don't really know what's happened to Robbo, but I don't think that he is anywhere near a threat for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Another player, Mark Selby, not being that consistent either. I don't know what's really going on with him at the moment. He's quite up and down. He's not that world number one player for a few years that he was. And I don't really think that he's going to threat Ronnie's game. I know that if they were to play, that could potentially cause issues in terms of playing that granite snooker and, kind of doing what Mark Selby does and making it a very slow, tactical, parking the bus for a football term. But I think it's going to be a minimum of 25 because they're not going to meet in the first round. Over 25 frames, I think Ronnie's break building and Ronnie's safety himself will be too good for Mark Selby. And also Mark Selby playing other players, I just don't think he's that player that he was at the moment. We've mentioned Robbo, Kyron Wilson. He's always in the conversation, but not at the moment. Not having a great season at all. So players like that, I think we can kind of rule out for this year's. Luca Brissell, really, really bad form at the recording of this video. I think last year was a bit of a freak win. Certainly don't think that he's going to win it again. It wouldn't surprise me if he got beat in the first round. I don't fancy him to get to the quarterfinals, Luca Brissell. So they're players that I'm ruling out on this occasion. Players who I feel are obstacles for Ronnie is the player that he beat at the Masters, Ali Carter. If he can just... The way that Ali Carter can win is by not facing Ronnie. Someone else needs to knock Ronnie out, and then Ali Carter could win. He loses his bottle against Ronnie. Always has, always will. So if he can avoid Ronnie, and someone can beat Ronnie, then I think Ali Carter has got a chance. Mark Allen, I think, has probably got one of the best shots this year to win the World Championships. great all-round game. Losing the weight that he's lost has really kind of sharpened him up. He seemed happier. I know he had a bit of depression at one point. Obviously, we need to talk about someone who is probably number 2 for favourite, and that's Judd. A player who's really developed over the years, a player that was kind of a, naughty snooker. He was playing going for everything shots, a bit like what Ronnie's doing now. But now Judd has a very, very good snooker brain. He knows when to turn on the safety and he knows when to go for the big shots. And I mean, his break building is up there with some of the best of all time. So we've got Judd in the picture. We have got Ali Carter in the picture, and we have also got Mark Allen in the picture. But I think that Ronnie, again, just to reiterate, if he can just play top safety and then do what he normally does, bear in mind that the Masters for me was, I'm not going to say he was lucky to win it, but another player in the final, it could have been a different story with how Ronnie was playing. I just think Ali Carter kind of lost his bottle. Who else do we have which could be a contender for the world? So I think that's really, for me, just trying to go over the season, really. There's no one that's really been too consistent apart from who I've mentioned. Ronnie and Judd have been the most consistent. Ali Carter's come back into good form, and Mark Allen is a top contender. So for me, they are the 4 to look out for. But I think Ronnie will win the World Championships. He will make it 888. And I think he's really going to go for it. And obviously, there's no GOAT debate. It's not. Is it Stephen Hendry? Is it? Come on. Ronnie O'Sullivan is the GOAT. But if he did the Triple Crown in one season, I mean, wow. Knight that man. So I think Ronnie O'Sullivan will win the 2024 World Snooker Championships for the reason I've said. Don't go for everything. Use that safety game, but still kind of remain the rocket. Just realise, this is a big, big deal. Season Triple Crown for Ronnie O'Sullivan. You heard it here. Do that again. You heard it here first. I'm going to come back on a weekly basis, someone has turned the light on, to give you some snooker content. So for me, for now, peace out.